Board of Education. I'll start all over again. Good morning, everyone. It's Friday, December 15th, 2023. This is a meeting of the Weston Board of Education Financial Facilities and Operations Committee. We have a quorum. So the first item on the agenda is an update of facilities and grounds maintenance. Mike?
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome aboard, Michael. Okay,
Thank you.
our big update. We awarded the track renovation resurfacing to ATT. And after last night's Board of Finance meeting, Phil had made me aware that they've approved the additional funding so we could do the double-sided pole vault lane outside the track and at a sand pit. So that's a go. We already had our kickoff meeting with them.
Can we just stop you here just for Michael's knowledge? So we've had this track maintenance plan or renovation plan on the books for a long time. It was increased because we're adding and Mike DeMastro are adding some new
Andrew Holmes.
some new some new sand pits, as he'll describe, which will allow us to hold more competitive track meets. Is that fair, Michael?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's
Hey, Mike, really quickly, how often does it have to get resurfaced?
It seems like it's 10, 15 years roughly.
Got it.
Over there, it's the wetlands. There's a lot of moving parts, so a lot of moving. I don't recall the last time it was actually resurfaced. It had been repaired somewhere 5, 7 years ago to the rubber ceiling, but they say right around that 15-year mark. So that's what we're guaranteed. So hopefully that's what we get out of it, and we'll keep the maintenance up on it. So yeah, that allows us to hold better track events, state level events, as well as safety, because at the point that we're at now, we only had one direction for the pole vault. So wind direction, if you've ever been on a football field, a stadium field, that wind howls from high school to intermediate school. So it allows them a little bit of safety to go back and forth, which is one of the big things. So yeah, it's a nice upgrade. We had the kickoff meeting. That's going to begin 5:30. So that's going to be May 30th. It's a Thursday. A little bit of help with Mark scheduling, possibly having to send athletes to different locations to train. But with those 2 days might be big, because the plan is tear up the old material, the rubber, mill the asphalt, and pave. Then it needs a 2 to 3 week cure time. Let the oils dissipate. And that 2 to 3 week period, that allows us to hold our graduation on the stadium field like we have done in the last couple of years while it settles. And then soon into probably third week of June, maybe even the second week of June, depending how quick the paving gets done, then they can start all their sealing, striping, and all that work. And all this gets us to the point of being an end date of August the 12th. That way football stadium is ready to go for the football practice. And like I said, we already had a kickoff meeting. This is a go. Yesterday we did a walkthrough for the playground upgrade, sponsored by the PTO, and we put a little bit of money in for capital for this year from us. It's to get rid of some of the wooden structures that are in the North House that are about at their age limit. Just a little bit of splintering and a lot of replacement and a lot of downtime over the past few years. Began busy writing some RFPs for South House bathrooms, D-wing remodel to mirror the E-wing, which is structural. It's breaking out the entire rear wall, adding larger windows, adding air conditioning, changing the heat. It has a lot more natural light if you haven't seen the E-wing. So that'll be taken care of. Yesterday we had another incident at the high school. Yeah.
Mike, hold on one quick second, just to kind of give a little bit more backstory of what we're trying to accomplish with that, with bringing in the consultant. So over the past couple of years, with all the work that we've done, that has been done with primarily with Hecton, the work for the high school has really been somewhat neglected. But there's work that needs to be done to really get the high school up to par. So we're hoping to get a better cost, just to add to our discussion in terms of the overall facility improvement.
Yesterday we had another issue with construction from the addition in 06 and the intermediate school building in 06. Mechanical contractor just was subpar. We had another main line go down, 2-inch line. So that has been repaired, and it's been a battle in those two schools from the 06 construction to just keep up with the breakdowns. We have quite a bit of work lined up for our 3-day break for no students and teachers in the building, 26, 27, 28. Includes a rear door replacement in the back of the high school, an exterior door. We have a couple doors that were a bit of an issue for one of our D-wing classrooms. Two doors in a single classroom, just for lockdown purposes. The doors were having issues. It's a double door, small door that just the mechanics of it had fallen apart. So that'll be replaced. Both of those. We also have some work going on at the pool. We have some deck work that needs to be done, some tiles that are broken out. So we have a couple days that we can get in there. Also, we're going to be resealing the shower enclosures. Some of the paint epoxy is already chipped away, so we have 3 days for that. And then just miscellaneous catch up for projects that we have. That's all I have for updates for the buildings. It's been an interesting year so far. The last 3 weeks we've had a lot of guys out, so a lot of moving parts. Hopefully by the time we get through the holidays, we'll be back to 100%. But it's definitely going around, and we're making some steps to get some more filtering back into the rooms, assuring that they're back on where the spaces don't have a whole lot of fresh air to them, just to try to minimize what's ahead. I also have Finico for the 3 days. I believe they're in here for 4 days. They're going to do a high impact wipe down, disinfectant of all the classrooms, desks, chairs, in common areas, just to have a nice fresh start for January 2nd when we get back. And that's about all I have for you guys. Any questions?
I just have a question. I don't know if this would be for Dan or for Michael. The internet's been down at the middle school. Is that indicative of a larger issue or a glitch?
We had a fiber issue, underground fiber run that they found was chewed and separated, and over time it just had it's hard to explain, but there's many pairs of fiber that goes into the building. So the last piece that was hanging on stopped hanging on a couple days back. They did the repairs yesterday. We're up and running. It just leads us into what could be a large scale replace for all of our underground fiber moving forward. As what they saw with the back of the middle school tie-in, we've seen a little bit of evidence that this could be at the high school as well. So if it's at that school, it could be all around. So I believe Dan is going to bring in a consultant, and they're going to go through these buildings and see what we can do. And that will probably and certainly become a capital item in the very near future.
Right. There's one thing to the end of the line fiber connectivity. The other thing is if it's buried, right? You're digging up things. It's like our septic systems. You're digging up, searching for disconnects. Yeah, that gets messy. All right. That sets an expectation. That's good. I mean, it's bad, but it's good to know now that
it is.
We have some heads up.
Yeah, but and of course, as you know, there is going to be a cost for that. We haven't seen the bills yet, but it probably is going to be a hefty sum. I did give the Board of Finance and just alerted the Board of Finance last night that this has occurred, and that if the cost is not within the scope of our current operating budget, it is possible that we may need to seek a special appropriation, but that is yet to be determined.
Thanks.
Thank you.
So the second item on the agenda is your monthly financial update, Phil, for November,
Sure.
through November.
Sure. So things are going well. We are still managing to absorb, for right now, the breakdowns and the expenditures related to all of that. The main highlights for this period, we have some savings for health insurance. Our census is a little bit slightly lower than anticipated. So we have a net savings of approximately $107,000. We do have some revenue offsets. We have transportation credits. This goes back to fiscal year 22-23. As you've noticed, for the past several years, if a student does not operate or run, they do give us a credit, and this is just reflective of that. So this 25,000 or so relates to 22-23, and so far, knock on wood, for 24, things are going well. Preschool tuition, I think we may not have budgeted correctly for that line item, so we've pretty much adjusted for that. So we're going to receive additional, greater than budgeted tuition in preschool, approximately $97,000. We did have new non-resident students enrolled in the district, 3 or so students. So we will have additional non-revenue tuition, approximately $54,000. And we have better than anticipated Medicaid reimbursement. And this relates to fiscal year 2021, based on our end of the year cost report. So all in all, that will give us a slight, have us trending for a slight surplus. However, it's still too early in the school year to really say definitively if this surplus will hold. Typically by the end of the third quarter or so, we'll definitely have a better sense as to how things are trending and a better sense as to how the year will end.
Great.
For the dental claims are pretty much trending now in terms of historical averages. And that's all I have.
There we go. Peter, Michael, any questions?
I had a question about, Phil, your comment about preschool tuition and the revenue status.
Yes.
And just backtrack a little bit. Is it that we're actually ahead of our revenue generation goals, or we're behind our revenue generation goals?
I think we are as expected. I think we just did not correctly reflect, or I did not correctly reflect what that number should be. So for the upcoming fiscal year, we've right-sided that. So I think we're pretty much on track to where we should have been.
All right, because I recall this was, a small but a relevant discussion point on the tuition rate, right? I remember we sort of went back and forth and made some decisions. It seems that rate was sort of appropriate, right? We're not running at a loss.
Right.
Correct.
That's good. That's good to know going into the next budget discussions that are forthcoming.
Yeah, and we're not necessarily saying that the revenues that we're gaining from the preschool or the tuition there is going to offset, is going to cover the full cost, but it does offset the cost of the program.
All right, Michael, anything on your side?
No, just getting used to this, taking a look at, all the tables here that we have, and kind of need a decoder ring to to figure out what's going on here. I suspect, Phil, either you and I can sort of grab some time at some point, I don't know, just to go through this. I don't want to take up the committee's time, or I'm sure some of my questions too, maybe Lisa's more appropriate in terms of, what is driving some of these things, for example. if I'm reading it right, look, no surprise that if I just look through the tables, no surprise that year over year costs are driven by heads, of course, by salaries. But there are some sort of puts and takes right in there in terms of, administrators up, looks like 18% year over year projected, like things like that. I don't want to bog down the committee with sort of all these things, but
yeah, Mike, let's schedule some time to touch base, because it'd probably be helpful as we head into the budget cycle as well. Because we have had those discussions, some of those items that you did point out, we've had those discussions. So let's schedule some time, and that'll pretty much help you as well as we head to the budget discussions.
Yeah, no, that'd be helpful. So thinking through, especially some of these volatile items, right? Like energy costs. Wow. I mean, on a year-over-year basis, those things fluctuate, quite a bit, it looks like. So
no. Again, so let's touch base.
Okay. Got it.
We do have locked-in costs, so let's touch base and let's talk.
Got it.
You'll see a lot of what you would think are volatile, like energy costs.
Yeah.
Phil just said, prices have been locked in.
A lot.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, just first time looking at it, just, looking at raw numbers, not knowing exactly what's going into them. So, all right.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, Phil.
Okay. And then just the last item is an approval of the minutes, of which it's you and me, Peter, because Michael wasn't on the board at the time. So can I have a motion to approve?
I move to approve the October Financial Facilities and Operations Committee minutes.
Great. I'll second it. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Great. I don't think there's any other business. So motion to adjourn, and we'll get together again on Monday.
Before we adjourn, just for Andrew. Andrew, can you stay on? Can you keep the link open, please?
Yep, you got it.
Okay. Motion to adjourn. Peter?
I second.
All those in favor? Aye.
All right.
Great. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. See you Monday.
Good
Thanks,
weekend.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks.